will tell you, I was 12 years old when my dad died, and one thing he didn't tell me was how many letters I needed. And they taught me that if you want to make sure you're moving forward, you got to always give back. And I've had the privilege of living a life of public service, working for the likes of Ted Kennedy, working for the likes of Barack Obama, working for the likes of Bill Clinton. And I had the privilege of being a federal prosecutor, prosecuting police misconduct cases, prosecuting hate crimes cases, prosecuting human trafficking cases. And as your labor secretary, I had the privilege of making sure that everybody had a fair shake. That's what I believe in, and I believe those are the values of the Democratic Party. And on November the 8th, 2016, I woke up with a very high confidence level that we were going to make history again. But you know the story of that day.
Yeah.
And I woke up November the 9th, and I'll tell you, we had two choices. We could cower in a corner, or we could fight back. And my parents always taught me, you fight back, you fight for your values, and you fight for inclusion. And that's what I chose to do. And that's why I ran for this job. And when I ran for this job, I knew that we had some work to do. I knew that it was a fixer-upper. I knew that we had to rebuild our infrastructure, but equally importantly, we had to rebuild trust. We had to rebuild trust of people in this room and people all over the country. Because as a person I met, and I've done a lot of listening in this job, and as someone I met in Detroit said to me at an AME church, Tom, you got to stop showing up every 4th October pretending that you care. I remember that, and I take that to heart. And I'm here to tell you, we will never take anyone for granted again. The Democratic Party is the party of inclusion, and we understand that black women brought us Doug Jones in Alabama. Black women have brought us so many victories, so many years, and we will never take anyone for granted again. And you know what? When you hear someone say that, the first question you should ask is, show me. Talk is cheap. And that is why from top to bottom, the moment I got here, we invested. The old DNC's mission was to elect the president every 4th year. The new DNC is about electing Democrats up and down the ticket from the school board to the Oval Office. And Senator, you'll allow me to call you Senator? If there's one thing I've learned on this job in 18 months, is that we've got to expand our risk tolerance threshold. When someone tells you it can't be done, they told us that in Alabama, and we elected Doug Jones, thanks to African American women. They told us that across the country. They said in Virginia, we can't elect Ralph Northam. We can't elect Justin Fairfax, the second African American lieutenant governor. They told us that in New Jersey with Phil Murphy. And now with the first African-American female lieutenant governor in New Jersey, they keep telling us that, and they keep being wrong. Because, you know what, folks? The new DNC is about organizing everywhere. It's about mobilizing everywhere. And I'm proud of the fact that we have invested more and earlier and everywhere in Pennsylvania than we ever have in a midterm cycle. I want to say a special thanks to Chairwoman Rhodes. Not the first time we've been together. Thank you for your leadership in the Black Caucus. Thank you for your help in the Seat at the Table movement. And you know what, folks? We're going to Central PA later because we got to win there, and we can win there. We're going everywhere around this state and everywhere around this country. I come to you with sobriety, born out of the fact that our democracy is on fire. And it's a 5-alarm blaze. But I come to you with unrelenting optimism because you know what? Most people, with the exception of our heroic first responders, are taught to run away from the fire. But you all are first responders in our democracy. You've never run away when our democracy's been on fire, and you never will. And we need you more than ever. Because everywhere I go, yes, our health care is on the ballot. The right to form a union is on the ballot. Women's reproductive health is on the ballot. Criminal justice reform is on the ballot.
Yes, sir.
Climate is on the ballot. Education is on the ballot. We need a Secretary of Education who believes in public education. But folks, our democracy is truly on the ballot. As someone who enforced the Voting Rights Act when I had the privilege of leading your Civil Rights Division, I looked down in Georgia and I see what's happening down there in the world of voter suppression, we have an opportunity, and we will make history in 15 days, electing the first African-American woman governor in Stacey Abrams. Make no mistake about it. The other side is scared.
Yeah.
They enacted these voter ID laws down there. I know because I sued their Secretary of State, who's now running for governor. He is a chairperson of the voter suppression task force of the Republican Party. And make no mistake about it, voter suppression is a permanent staple in the Republican Party. So what did Democrats do after that law was enacted? They said, okay, we got to live with it, so we're going to organize. And organize they did, the New Georgia Project, led by Stacey, registering over 200,000 African-American, Latino, Asian American voters. What do? We got to raise the bar more. This identical match requirement. So if I'm Thomas E. Perez on my driver's license and Thomas Edward Perez on my voter registration, you can't vote, and they throw it out. If you're an African-American woman getting bused to the polls, you're told to go home. That's not who we are as a nation. And the new Democratic Party is fighting in Georgia. We're fighting here. You remember what they said when you passed your pernicious voter ID law here. This was going to ensure Mitt Romney's election in 2012. You remember that? Well, they were damn wrong because of you all. You got up, you got out, you organized. You organized everywhere, folks. And I'll tell you, those 53,000 voters in Georgia, 70% of them are African American. You can bet your bottom dollar that if 70% of those 53,000 were white, they wouldn't have this new requirement. And if you can bet your bottom dollar that I had been in the Civil Rights Division and Barack Obama had been in the White House and we had a Democratic Justice Department, we would have sued them. We would have sued them right away because it's illegal, it's unconstitutional, and it's un-American.
That's right.
That's why it is so important for us to stand up and stand up everywhere.
Yes,
I'm very proud of our investments here in Pennsylvania, everywhere else. I'm proud of the fact that we're focused not only on Bob Casey and Tom Wolf, but we are equally focused on making sure we have as many Democrats as possible in your state Senate and your state House. Because that is so critically important. I had to sue Pennsylvania a long time ago when you guys did some bad things under Corbett. You were a Full Employment Act for civil rights lawyers all too frequently. And you know your funding formulas for education, they were discriminatory.
Yes,
I saw
sir.
it firsthand. And who were the victims? Your children, our children. That's not right.
No, it's not.
So I want to make sure you know why I'm doing this. Whenever I see someone who leads some effort, I want to get a window into their soul. And for me, this is all about making sure not only that you have a seat at the table, but that you have a megaphone at the table. Not only that you don't have to bring your own chair, we bring it for you, we bring the microphone for you, and we want to make sure that your voices are always heard. That's the new Democratic Party. We didn't always perform. And I'm here to acknowledge that. But you know what, folks? We've learned. And I hope you'll give us that opportunity. And you know what, folks? I am certain that you're going to be a senator. I am certain that with our democracy on the ballot, folks are going to step up here and elsewhere. This ain't the first time we've fallen off the rails in our democracy. And I remember vividly going with Barack Obama down to Selma to mark the 50th anniversary of Bloody Sunday. And he said something that I still remember to this day. He said, you know what, folks? The most important word in a democracy is that simple two-letter word, we. It's amazing what we, the people, can do when we come together, when we organize. It was we, the people, that corrected the original sin of slavery. It was we, the people, that brought us the suffragette movement, that brought us Stonewall, that brought us the New Deal, that brought us The Voting Rights Act and the Civil Rights Act of 64 and the Fair Housing Act of 68 and the Americans with Disabilities Act and the Hate Crimes Prevention Act. It brought us the LGBTQ movement. Folks, and what all those things have in common is it was Democrats who led the charge. And it was black women who were at the tip of the spear. And that is why, folks, we need you not only to have that seat at the table, but we need you to have that megaphone. We need more of you in elective office. We need more of you everywhere.
Oh, thank you.
Because you know what, folks? I am confident that working together, we can regain our democracy. I'm
Yes,
certain
sir.
of it. But
Yes,
I'm
sir.
equally certain that, as Dr. King said, human progress never rolls in on wheels of inevitability.
That's
You
right.
will never hear me say blue wave. Because you know what? A wave is an act of God. And elections are won with shoe leather. And don't get me wrong, I got a lot of faith. I'm a Matthew 25 Catholic, but faith alone, without words and deeds and actions and organizing 24/7 is how we're going to win this election.